Aquarius, I do feel like your solar plexus is heating up, opening up, especially for those of you that have either been enduring some type of creative block, if you've had a block to pleasure as well, and I don't mean necessarily sexual pleasure, though it absolutely could be that as well. I mean, like, you've had a hard time granting yourself things that feel good. Being afraid to kind of step into euphoria. There may be some, like, old habits or negative experiences that you have attached to that level of pleasure that you've kind of denied yourself. I feel like you've been living a little bit restricted. Not like handcuffed type of restricted or hands tied type of restricted. It's like just a little bit of a, you know, you've been living in a box, right? In a cube, when you could be living in a wide open field. And I think that you're coming into understanding that this month, and with your solar plexus, or excuse me, sacral chakra, being a focus. And it's funny, I haven't touched this deck yet, but I can see the sacral chakra card. I can see it. I can see it. So we'll see if it comes out when I do the rest of your spread. But I feel like this is about giving yourself permission to kind of drop down into your body. Your detachment serves you so well. It does keep you level-headed. It does keep you objective. It does keep you in a position where you're never so close to something that you don't see it for what it really is. But certain things are also meant to be experienced physically, not just intellectualized and not just thought of as a theory. And with the Ace of Swords ultimately coming out as the overall, regardless of Mercury being retrograde this month, I feel like you're going to be very clear about what you want and very clear about where you want to put your effort. With the King of Swords and the Ten of Cups, I do feel like any confusion or misinterpretation or unsureness that you've had towards what makes you feel at home, what makes you feel at peace, what makes you feel like you can hang your hat and not worry that someone's going to ask you to hang it somewhere else. It seems like a very specific thing, but it's like, you know, that comfortability when you come through somebody's door and you just take your shoes off and you take your coat off and they're not saying like, hey, Aquarius, put it there, or like, I want to put it in the closet or whatever. You just know where to put it. You know how to act. You know how to enter this space, and you know how to get comfortable in this space. I feel like that's all becoming extremely clear to you. Doesn't necessarily mean you have it this month. You could be getting a taste of it this month. Like, I feel like literally like it's on the tip of your tongue. Okay. And it may just be an idea right now, a vision right now, but it has a lot of steam behind it. I've been saying this in every reading so far, to manifest between the March equinox and the beginning of Virgo season. Okay, then we move into the Knight of Wands with the Three of Cups. I feel like once you give yourself permission, and once again you wrap your mind around this idea that you do deserve to have a physical experience, you do deserve to have a more embodied, pleasurable experience, you will quickly align with people who celebrate that part of you and who know how to have a good time and make you feel at home and make you feel at ease and bring you into the fold. I feel like this is about being brought into the fold, because I think you felt like, again, your life has been in a little bit of a box. I think that you've felt really isolated. Maybe you do have friends, but like you never get to see them because you're on opposite schedules. Or you're just like, you know what, all my friends are coupled off and, you know, I'm the only single one left, or, you know, just at this point in my life, where do I meet people? But I feel like you are coming to a point where you're not going to feel like that is the challenge that it used to be. You also may be making a new friend, or again, someone maybe introduced it to your friend group. I don't know why I just keep getting this like living room, family room vision, like experience. Like I don't even know how to describe it. I just feel like, I don't know, I just feel like there's something here about like a rec room, you know, like not a formal living room, like a rec room, family room. I don't know. I don't really know what that's related to, but I just keep getting the image of it. With the Three of Pentacles and the Eight of Pentacles, I feel like you're ready to put in the work that's required to build the next phase of your life. You may also be at a point in your life where you understand that building yourself up and focusing on yourself also has the ability to feed into a greater good or a bigger whole. You also may be considering going back to school or getting, like taking a page out of somebody's book as well. You may be asking for financial advice or career advice or like schooling advice, career, like, especially if you want to change careers, especially if you want to change avenues. You may be talking to somebody that has a similar skill set to you in some regard, and you're like, okay, let's list all your, they're helping you. They're like, let's list all your skills. What can you learn without going back to school? What would you have to get training in? What are you, what's really valuable to you? But I feel like you are extremely focused on how to build a better life for yourself and what people are going to be willing and able to lay brick and mortar with you. Now, everyone plays a role. In three dynamics, everyone plays a role. Everyone has a certain avenue that they stand in. And I feel that you are going to be more of an executor at this time, and there's going to be other people around you that are more of the think tank type people and more of the directional type people, and that might not be something that you're as used to, but I think it will be very beneficial for you. Yeah. Someone's going to be coming in and kind of just like snapping into focus ideas that you've had for a long time that you will be able to execute a very long-term, financially secure vision, okay? This can even be like building a family, building a legacy, like what you see yourself doing for the next 25, 30 years. Yeah. And this could be something that you felt intuitively on a deep level, but you never could like make logical sense of it. Like it was like in your unconscious, or someone who's a very high priestess type, like someone who's very intuitive, someone who can kind of just like read you, shows you the direction that things are turning in. All right, Aquarius. There's a lot happening here, and I just had to take a minute and like really absorb it because it's giving me all different types of feels right now. Don't give yourself cold feet. This month, yes, Mercury's in retrograde, but that's really about contracts and technology and like text not going through and all that bullshit, okay? And also about drawing like extremely definitive conclusions. But Mars is in Taurus, and Mars in Taurus takes a grounded, some would say slow, but it's a well thought out approach. And I feel like no matter what transpires this month, it is imperative that you put one foot in front of the other. Retreating at this time will not serve you in any capacity. Okay? Because when we commit to forward motion, when we commit to self-improvement, when we commit to distancing ourselves from our former selves and from our past and the things that we thought would define us permanently, we create more room to be new things. We create more room to take on new identities, to express new facets of ourselves. And it's going to be important this month that you channel your energy, that you channel your expertise, that you channel the best of yourself into the physical realm. Your overall energy is the Queen of Pentacles. I feel like this reading is going to be particularly in tune for people that either have a strong water placement in their chart, a strong earth or predominantly Taurus placement in their chart, or a Sagittarius placement. Okay, Capricorn too a little bit, but I don't really like to associate Capricorn with the devil. I think they're better than that. I feel like it's important to not be in survival mode anymore. Literally, when I said I don't like to associate them with that, I literally started hearing Destiny Child Survivor play in my head, where it goes, and my mama taught me better than that. I'm a survivor, right? Yes, you already been survived though, Aquarius. Like, so you have to go from surviving to thriving. And with the Queen of Pentacles here, this is about focusing your energy on your valuable and on your value, excuse me, and on the execution of day-to-day tasks and bringing beauty and physical effort, right, into your daily routine. So it's really easy sometimes to like get lost in a mental landscape and kind of be not super focused on bringing things in your life physically to beautify it or to knock out goals or whatever. But this month, it's going to be really important that everything that you do has value and that everything that you do has purpose. I feel like that's why it's important to be kind of methodical about the way that you approach things. I think discipline and commitment to whatever that is, to, again, beautifying your life, saving money, hitting a financial goal, whatever the case may be. I think that it'll all feed your spirit and feed your goals overall. The energy you're being initiated into is Angel of Love. And Angel of Love is not necessarily a card that forecasts relationships. However, it is a card that heralds, I'm seeing it as the opening of a gate, right? The gate to more, again, like I was saying in the beginning, more pleasure, more emotional satisfaction, more contentedness, that feeling at home. Wasn't I talking about hanging a hat on a coat rack or whatever? Where only a place that is blessed by love, that is literally like knitted with love, you know what I mean? Like intertwined with love, can make you feel at home. And I feel like that's what you are also ruminating in this month as well, because the Queen of Pentacles also rules the domestic life. And she's a little bit of a superwoman when it comes to her daily routine. Like, she's the person that looks together all the time, she's got a routine, she got her shit together, her house is always in order, she got food in the fridge, like she's just got you know what I mean? And I feel like this is the energy that's either coming into your life or you're stepping in and embodying it. And with Angel of Love here, notice how the angel is fixated on that heart that she's holding close to her chest. You may even encounter a situation this month that either triggers a memory of or is actually having you feel this way at right now, where it's almost like your heart is beating outside of your chest. And that's a very fragile energy to be in. And fragile is not a negative word. Fragile just means that you're vulnerable. And I feel that if you are willing this month to almost observe love unfold in front of your eyes, like the energy of love unfold in front of your eyes, literal miracles can be birthed. Okay? What you're being asked to release is the Six of Pentacles with the King of Wands. Now, the King of Wands, we have friendship. Now, the friendship room fell out when I wasn't really focused on clarifying these, and then I did it again, and it came out again. So this is a very strong message here. If you've always been the initiator of things, or if you've always felt like you needed to, whether it be with your friends or you had to be this friend or whatever, to have it all together, I feel like, and especially when it comes to like, if your worth or your value was tied to what you can physically give people, what kind of money you had in the bank, like what, if you tended to measure yourself next to other people's standards, or compare yourself in a negative or positive way to other people, I feel like that is waning. Also, if you've tended to be friends with people that just had a different direction than you or didn't really include you in your life, I feel like that is being asked to fade away as well. The Six of Pentacles obviously wants reciprocity, and Spirit would never tell you, okay, now enter connections or enter situations where, you know, things aren't equal. That's not what we're talking about. But with the King of Wands is kind of savage. The King of Wands is going to do what's best for him, not what's best for the whole. And if you've been friends with people that are kind of inconsiderate, or if you've been friends with people that are more extroverted and are more focused on the external, or more focused on kind of like that asserting achievement type of energy, I feel like you're shifting into an energy that is more nurturing, and you need connections and relationships with people that bring out a different side of you. Again, if you have some type of strong fire energy in your chart, I feel like you're learning how to channel it in a new way. Some of you have also may have been a lone ranger for quite some time, or like a loner for quite some time, and you just feel like it's so much work to like go out and make new friends, or it's so much work to try to connect with people that it's not entirely worth it. But I feel like Spirit is saying like you're not going to be alone for much longer. It is going to require you to, again, kind of be in a position where your heart is beating outside of your chest, and that's a lot. I get that's a lot. But there's some type of controlling energy here that you're needing to release, because the King of Wands is just not very considerate of other people. It's not necessarily to anyone's detriment, but he's just not. And the Six of Pentacles is very focused on who gets what. You know what I mean? And being very mindful of like not oversharing or not overgiving. And I feel like you're having to come into a space that requires more ease and more trust. Because the door that's now open, that was once closed, is the Queen of Cups with the Ten of Cups. And on the Queen of Cups, we have the rune Self. So this is obviously opening up your energy to be more Queen of Cups like. However, the Justin Timberlake song Mirror just started playing in my head. How does it go? It's like something staring back at me. Okay? So you may have met somebody that it feels like when you talk to them, it's just like you're talking into a mirror. And they may look nothing like you. They may have like a very different just way about them. You know, I don't think that they physically look like you or physically came from the same walk of life, if you will, as you. But I feel like you see yourself, or they see themselves in you, okay, in a big, big way. And with the Ten of Cups accompanying that, this could definitely be someone that's a part of your soul family, or someone that resonates on that soul level, or someone that you could, like, that you feel like is just family. Again, and that home, what was I talking about? I was talking about family rooms and shit. That energy, that like energy of like coming together in that way is like really strong here. But with the Queen of Cups, it's important that you open up to people and show your true self. Obviously not just anybody. It's the people that make you feel like you're about to shit rainbows. Like, honestly, it's like that energy that if you like thought about it too much, you'd be like, my life is not a novel. This is silly. Don't do it. You know what I mean? Like, if you intellectualize this energy, it's going to suck. It's just not going to be as fun. It's not going to be as magical. But there's some experience unfolding in your life that is showing you so keenly what really makes your heart sing and what brings you grounded comfort, okay? And obviously Aquarius energy is masculine in nature, and this is a more feminine energy presenting itself. So I feel like you're having to learn how to calibrate your desire to do and define and, you know, analyze versus feel into things, okay? So when it comes to emotional satisfaction, when it comes to feeling like encompassed, okay, and supported, all right, you really need to be honest with yourself about what you are and aren't willing to bear. Because these figures are reflecting in the same way. They're looking at something that is kind of fragile and soft and should be handled with care. And yet they still have it out in the physical, right? They're not hiding it. It's out in the open. So that's the kind of risk you're being pushed to take this month, is to dabble in energy that you're not as familiar with, because there's barely any swords here. Yeah, we have 2 right here, and we're going to discuss those in a second, but there's no sword figures. There's no air energy that's pushing you to be your typical self. This is pushing you out of your comfort zone. And this is my favorite part. These next 2 sections are my favorite part of this reading. Your current energy as it relates to all of this. In your head, we have Temperance, which also was followed by the Devil and the Knight of Cups. And the way that it fell when it came to me is it was like the Temperance card was completely covered like that. So when I moved them, I was surprised to see the Empress card. So I feel like you need to see the Temperance card as a surprise, and we're going to get to we're going to talk about why. In your heart, the 9 of Swords with the rune Prosperity. And in your foundation, the 4 of Swords. Primarily this month, your focus internally is to shift away from identifying with pain. Okay? Trauma and pain as a bonding point is a little deceptive in nature. And there's also a difference between bonding over pain, meaning like you're actively dredging up pain and someone not just reminds you of a painful time, but like literally is the embodiment of the same thing or experience that created the original wound, right? On the other hand, you can be around people or meet people who have had similar experiences as you, okay, that were both traumatic, right? But instead of you bonding over having that same open wound, you're bonding over both having healed that wound without each other, without another person, all on your own. So that's the difference. And the 4 of Swords in your foundation is also encouraging you, again, to not attempt to mentally and compartmentalize why, define what is happening in your life right now. I feel like it's important to just experience, not think, not reflect, just to experience. With the 9 of Swords in your heart space, in the rune Prosperity, I feel like there's this innate fear that love in how you feel doesn't lead to success, doesn't lead to a prosperous lifestyle. And we all have a bunch of like if there's a person that you know that has literally never gotten their heart broken or has no poor love experience, like fucking kudos to them, but like they clearly are on a very different karmic path than you are. And you need to just tell them to exit stage left because they're not relatable. Okay? It's completely natural to, when you're in a vulnerable state or when you feel like, wow, like real feelings could surface here, or I think I'm in uncharted territory, to get nervous. Okay? Because the 9 of Swords doesn't mean there's an actual threat. It means that you're being challenged to prove that you have grown and prove that you have healed a wound, a very core wound, one that brings you a lot of concerns and a lot of worries. Again, I feel like you have the power to prosper, and I feel like you've already done a lot of the footwork, Queen of Pentacles, to put to use everything that you have learned. But now that you're being emotionally triggered, now that it's not just an idea, now that Spirit's asking you to physically and emotionally connect to this reality, it's like, I don't know if I can succeed in all that. But this is the most fascinating part. In your head, right, first we have the Devil and the Knight of Cups. And this is literally, especially in conjunct to this, if you've only identified with love in a codependent manner, or you've only bonded, again, over trauma, if you've only connected with people that ultimately were no good for you, that either had addictions or you got addicted to your partner, right? Or you and your partner had, again, a mutual trauma point, meaning like both of you had some kind of trauma that brought you together where your relationship didn't have to be abusive or negative, but like you did some type of negative habit together, or I just feel like there was a core wound. Like I'm literally seeing like two arms from different people held together, and there's like a mutual scar, like each person has half, and when they put it together, it's a larger, like a larger open wound, and it's like when they pull it apart, it starts to heal. When they put it back together, it starts to open. Okay, so there may be a fear that like you can only succeed on your own, or that you're only going to be able to keep your quote demons at bay or your skeletons in your closet alone. And I feel like there's a fear of being weak. I feel like, again, or even weak to the flesh. Like, but with temperance emerging out of these, I feel like, we all have things that honestly like shake us to our core that are good for us, right? Because uncharted territory is always going to kind of leave you on edge. With temperance here, it's saying, first of all, take your time. Again, one foot in front of the other. Don't retreat and don't rush. Just put one foot in front of the other. And temperance talks about healing. What are we healing? We're healing core wounds. We're healing core wounds around the way that we approach love, the way that we approach sharing ourselves, the way that we approach connecting on an emotional level. Maybe you always get sexual with your partners really quickly, and that kind of just either makes you fall for them and want to like just pursue, a relationship. Maybe you're like a serial monogamist or something. But temperance is saying, take your time. And it's also saying that in the right conditions, with the right elements, anything can be alchemized, right? Which means changed from its core, right? So something that once was a stone can be, right, tumbled into a crystal. So I feel like you need to give yourself time and space in a certain environment that you're unfamiliar with that will polish or, refine something that you've started to heal on your own, but is still rough around the edges. Okay? It's like, yes, you cleaned out your wound and you let it get air and it started to scab over or whatever, but you're coming into a period in your life where the environment around you is ointment. You know what I'm saying? Something that is appearing to be a potential pitfall or trigger is actually an anecdote. Okay? And it's going to happen in very unexpected ways. Because Spirit's advice for you is the Hierophant, the Tower, and the Six of Wands. This is literally, where did I have this? The Luck Rune, I think, was on the Tower. You are going to be mind blown, okay? Mind blown at the way that you come into a new level of success and a new level of achievement. The Hierophant talks about commitment. The Hierophant talks about the status quo and what society expects of us and the lessons that we have learned through trial and error and the lessons that we have kind of learned as a growing pain, right? These are growing pain lessons. These are lessons that are both very third dimensional, real world, and equal parts spiritual. Okay, things that required you also to like, quote, meet your maker. Or get the book thrown at you, if you will. Like these are like big life lessons, I feel like are what's coming into solidification. And I think that you're going to be heralded and I think you're going to notice like you're going to come in and like solidify a lesson and close a chapter of a book, but you're not going to realize it's closed until you're in the victory circle being celebrated. You know what I'm saying? Like, because this is coming out of the blue. You also may like all of a sudden like lock in a new job that you really love, or just like, you could just step into a whole new level of attention that you didn't expect to get either, because the Six of Wands is attention and notoriety and being recognized for your value and for your spirit, honestly. And because it's connected to the Tower and luck, it's like, if you especially felt unlucky in love, or if you feel like, just something always throws off the things that you're good at or throws off the things that you invest in emotionally where it doesn't seem to be worth it anymore. I feel like you're learning why that has happened in the past and how you get a fresh, clean slate. because the Hierophant wants you to understand the duality in things and heed the lessons. And again, like Taurus energy, put one foot in front of the other. This isn't about drawing conclusions about what exactly everything that you're feeling right now means. It is saying, however, though, if you commit to vulnerability, if you commit to not knowing but still being willing to experience, you will be greeted with an obscene amount of support. Not only physically, but I feel spiritually. And I feel like energetically. What is to come in April? We have the Knight of Wands with the Page of Pentacles. And on the Page of Pentacles, we have the rune Future. The Knight of Wands here, moving into April, is I feel like this is saying that everything that you're going through in March will begin to catch speed going into April. And you may, especially if you're looking for new work or wanting to bring more money into your life, or, you know, seed some new investments or whatever the case may be. I feel like April, once Mercury goes direct, it's going to be a better time. And I think that the ground will be a lot more fertile at that time. And I feel like the, quote, winds will pick up and like things will just speed up from there. The Page of Pentacles is very observant, and he, again, takes his time. So even if you get a rush of inspiration, that doesn't mean throw all caution to the wind. It means that take that inspiration and put it to good use. So I wouldn't rush into your future right now, so to speak, especially if this is a romantic relationship. If you like meet someone that just like feels like they flipped your world upside down. It's not that things are happening too fast, but I feel like this is just the beginning of something that is going to play out for quite some time. Yeah. It may take up until Libra season for things to become official. Virgo energy here. Yeah. So be patient. I've been telling every sign, like, between now and August, September timeframe is when a lot of this stuff is going to unfold. So this is just the beginning. So that means that you have to be willing to sit in this energy and be a little bit uncomfortable and just flow with all of this, because the materialization is going to be happening from May, okay, unless you're a little bit ahead of the timeline, to September. All right? Aquarius, I almost said Taurus. If you're interested in the mid-month readings, those can be found in the description box below. I love y'all. Peace.